So then, how do you harness the power of you? You were born to fly. And when you are born to fly, nothing less will satisfy. If you happen in the space of average, you will be so miserable even with all the money in the world. Yes? I'm not normal. I really am not. Ask my wife, I'm strange. All my friends are a little odd. Do you know why? Because the word normal to me belongs in the same sentence as regular, ordinary, average, and mediocre. You see, those of you who study mathematics and statistics will know that the word comes from the normal distribution curve. Do you know that thing? And the ones on the edge are really wonderful or they're really terrible, but in the middle they cluster as the crowd. The ordinary ones, people aren't ordinary, but they think that way because somebody shackled them to the tent pole after domesticating them. When they were children, they dreamt in Technicolor. Now all they see is black and white. Oh, may I go there for a moment? You think the problem in America is black people and white people? I have nothing to do with that. You just happen to fall at that place in the electromagnetic spectrum where you can be classified. They just happen to be falling on that place of the electromagnetic spectrum where they happen to be classified. It has nothing to do with that. It's what's happening inside you that makes you want to separate yourself from other people and be better than them. And it causes conflict every day. Am I making sense? You just can't get to the top of the game. You just can't get to the top of the game until you release the burden that holds you down. There are remarkable people in this room who are overqualified to do the work that you do after all. How difficult is it to get a few friends together and have them feel really good and say yes? You're overqualified for the work. And if you had to go through... And if you had to go through a job interview to work in this great company, many of you would have been rejected because you're overqualified. It's not the work. It's not the content. It's not the process. It's something to do with the inside of you. It's something to do with the inside of me, why I don't get to where I was designed to be in life. Hello, somebody. Okay. So now, you're at the top of the mountain. The mountain is below you. You have moved to the mountain. There are a couple other ways. Another way is to look at this mountain standing in front of you and decide, you know what? That mountain is too high. It's too steep. It's all rock. I'm not going to waste so much of my life to get to the top of it. I am going to use a word that I used to use in school. Circumnavigate the mountain. Anybody know that word? This is what the explorers did way back in the several centuries ago. They take another path. They go around the thing and come up on the side of it. I'm going to navigate around that big problem. I don't want to get dirty. You know what I'm talking about? Go to the right side of it. Go to the left side of it. And when you get, here's the mountain, and here you are. And when you get over here, and you see this Disneyland place, where are you now? It used to be in front of you. Where is the mountain now? It is, you're just standing beside it now. It is beside you. And you've moved the mountain. And then there's another way. And you may think this is cute, but it's more than cute. There's another way. There's some mountains that you can't climb. There's some mountains whose base is so long that it doesn't serve you to try to go around. There's some mountains that you just have to go through. Tell me, woman, your loving, loving, loving relative dies. Not coming back. I don't care what they say. I don't care who say, I know what you feel. If you don't know what you feel, you're going to have to suffer through that one. Am I telling the truth about that? There's some emotional things that are so hard that you just have to live through them. And in this metaphor, you go to the store and you buy pick and shovel. You go to the big place and order a bulldozer and a driver, and you start to chip away at the front of the mountain. And you begin to dig a tunnel through the mountain. And you start to pour your way through the heart of that weight that is so heavy. It's not like just tearing up a little piece of paper and throwing it in the water. There is a weight that besets us sometimes that requires us to live through the dark place before we can come out on the other side. Huh? That one is rough. And sometimes when you make the right decision, okay, got it, I'm not going to die, I'm going to live through this one. And when you look, you're so far into it that you can't see the light that was there. In front of you, there's still rock and dirt, and it is dark. You got this thing on with a little light that keeps you going. Sometimes if you don't watch out, the battery runs out on that. Oh, I'm talking about hurt. Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever been there? Where something hurts you so bad you want to scratch it, but it's in your bone. And even that does not stop you from flying. I know what I'm talking about. I have a relative, near and dear, who got into some trouble, some complicated thing I don't even want to talk about. And I was on a plane to New York to give a speech, a presentation to a client, and the client was going to pick me up and take me to the boardroom, and I was going to be ready, like a good consultant should be, and just put my PowerPoint on and go through my program. I didn't have time to go to the bathroom for too long. My client was going to pick me up, and I had to deliver. So my plan was that on the plane, I would unfold my computer and get to my PowerPoint and move the slides around and get ready. You know that game. You know, we generally know what we're going to do, but it's not ready. And when I went and sat on that airplane, and it was time to open up my computer, I opened it up and I could not see PowerPoint. It wasn't there. It was the face of this loved one, precious, wonderful. My heart is in this loved one, my blood. And everything that came up was this person's face. Have you ever been there? Oh, wait a minute, you're supposed to go on Excel and calculate some things at work, and you go to work on Monday morning and you cannot see the lines of Excel. Your aunt has been diagnosed with cancer or something. Your friend has died or something, and it is so heavy that you can't see Excel. Or is it just me? And honestly, I wanted to go, okay, heart, but it was too far in, I couldn't scratch it. It hurt me so badly. My grandmother, who was my hero, you see, when my uncle had practiced his vegan ways on me, and really hurt me and so forth, that was rough. My grandmother took me in, and she was my friend and my fan and my teacher and so forth, and she died, and that was rough. I have never in my life felt pain like I did then. Some of you know what I'm talking about. There's some folks here who are feeling that pain right now, and there's a voice that says you ought to shut down, it's hopeless, you cannot make it. But may I invite you to move that mountain. And here's what happened. Because I have spent my life learning some ways of things that are not taught in schools, hello, I had gotten some tools. And the reason I'm here is I want to impart a few of them to you. I wish I could give you a lot more. But I learned a tool, and it went like this. I sat there and I knew I was in trouble because I didn't seem to have power. And then I remembered I have power. So I visualized a filing cabinet in front of me, a huge filing cabinet, and mentally I opened this drawer right here. And I took my loved one and this person's issues and deposited all of it into this drawer, and I said, I'll be right back. And I closed it mentally. And I did like this, and I opened another drawer and took out my clients' issues and market problems and challenges. And I took them mentally and put them on my computer and began to work. Isn't that great? But then this drawer popped out again. He said, what about me? And I said, it's okay. I'll be right back. And I went back to focus. And it popped out about 3 times. You know how thoughts kind of take over your mind? And guess what? After a while, that drawer stayed comfortably closed because gently I said, I'll be right back. And I worked on that plane. I didn't even remember the thing that used to hurt me in my bone. And I got off the plane. My client picked me up, and I went to the boardroom, and I did a bang-up job. And I came out of that situation mentally with my power of logical thinking intact, choosing now to open the drawer and deal with it objectively. It was the most remarkable experience. Do you know you have that power?